The mistake. Maya Rodriguez pressed her forehead against the cool glass of her office window, watching the city lights blur through her exhausted eyes. Sterling Tech Solutions occupied 3 floors of a downtown Seattle high-rise, and at nearly midnight on a Thursday, she was one of the few people still working. Her reflection stared back at her, dark brown hair escaping from its ponytail, mascara slightly smudged beneath her eyes. The marketing campaign for their new software launch had consumed her life for 3 months. As marketing director, Maya had poured everything into this project, working 16-hour days, sacrificing her social life, and pushing her team to excellence. At 29, she had clawed her way up from an entry-level customer service position 7 years ago, and she refused to let anything derail her career trajectory. Her phone sat on her desk, Evan's contact photo staring up at her. They had been in this strange situationship for 4 months, ever since meeting at a conference in Portland. He lived in San Francisco, worked in venture capital, and their relationship existed primarily through late-night phone calls and occasional weekend visits. Maya knew it was going nowhere, but the connection filled a void in her otherwise lonely existence. Tonight, the silence of her apartment felt particularly suffocating. The stress, the exhaustion, the glass of wine she had poured herself, all of it lowered her usual defenses. Maya picked up her phone and opened the voice message feature. She needed to express what she felt, even if it made her vulnerable. "Hey," she began, her voice softer than usual. "I know this might sound silly, but I've been thinking about you constantly today. I miss the way you make me laugh, the way you actually listen when I talk about my day. I miss your touch, the way your hands feel on my skin." She paused, her cheeks warming. "I keep replaying last weekend in my mind, the way you kissed me in your apartment, how you made me feel like the only person in the world. I want that again. I want you. Maybe I'm being too forward, but I'm tired of playing it cool. I really care about you, and I hope you feel the same way." Maya's heart raced as she ended the recording. She took a breath, then hit send, tossing her phone onto her desk as if it had burned her. Vulnerability terrified her, but maybe Evan needed to hear how she truly felt. She gathered her belongings, ready to head home, when her phone buzzed. Maya glanced at the screen and her entire world stopped. The message showed "delivered" beneath a name that made her blood freeze. Ethan Sterling. Not Evan. Ethan. Her hands began to shake as she grabbed her phone, staring in horror at the screen. Ethan Sterling was the CEO of Sterling Tech Solutions, the man who founded the company at 25 and built it into a tech industry powerhouse by 33. He was her ultimate boss, the person who controlled her career trajectory, the man whose approval she had worked years to earn. And she had just sent him an intimate voice message meant for someone else. She watched in paralyzed terror as the status changed from "delivered" to "read" at 11:47 p.m. He was awake. He had heard it. Every word, every vulnerable confession, every intimate detail. She frantically tried to delete the message, but the option was grayed out. Once listened to, it couldn't be unsent. Maya sank into her office chair, her breath coming in short gasps. This could not be happening, not after everything she had sacrificed to build her reputation at this company. Her mind raced through impossible scenarios. Should she send an explanation immediately? Should she pretend it never happened? Should she start updating her resume? The silence from Ethan's end was deafening. No response, no acknowledgement, just that terrible "read" status mocking her. Maya finally forced herself to leave the office, her legs feeling weak as she rode the elevator down. The drive home to her Capitol Hill apartment passed in a blur. She kept checking her phone, hoping for some kind of response that might give her a clue about what Ethan was thinking, but nothing came. Friday arrived with no word from Ethan. Maya had called in sick, unable to face the office. She spent the day pacing her apartment, alternating between mortification and panic. By Sunday evening, she had convinced herself she would be fired on Monday. Monday morning came too quickly. Maya dressed in her most severe professional outfit, a black pantsuit with a cream blouse, her hair pulled back tightly, minimal jewelry. She needed to look completely competent and untouchable, nothing like the vulnerable woman in that voice message. The office felt different as she walked through the doors at 8:30, or perhaps everything felt different because her world had tilted on its axis. Maya kept her head down, avoiding eye contact with colleagues as she made her way to her desk. She had barely logged into her computer when her phone pinged with a message from Claire, Ethan's executive assistant. "Mr. Sterling would like to see you in his office at 10 a.m. Her stomach plummeted. This was it, the conversation she had been dreading all weekend. She spent the next hour and a half in a state of controlled panic, unable to focus on any actual work. At 9:58, Maya stood outside Ethan's office, her heart hammering against her ribs. She had been in this space dozens of times for campaign presentations and strategy meetings, but never had she felt this level of dread. She knocked twice on the door. "Come in."
The unexpected connection. Friday evening arrived wrapped in autumn rain, the kind of soft Seattle drizzle that made everything feel intimate. Maya had changed outfits 5 times before settling on a deep burgundy dress that felt both elegant and comfortable. Her nerves had transformed from anxiety into anticipation. Ethan picked her up at 7, looking relaxed in dark jeans and a charcoal sweater, his usual corporate armor abandoned. The restaurant was tucked away on a quiet street, warm light spilling from its windows. Inside, candles flickered on small tables, and the scent of garlic and fresh bread filled the air. "I come here when I need to think," Ethan admitted as they settled into a corner booth. "It reminds me why I started the company. My grandmother was Italian. She always said the best conversations happen over good food." The initial awkwardness melted away as they talked. Maya learned that Ethan had started Sterling Tech in his garage after dropping out of graduate school, driven by a vision but terrified of failure. He spoke about the loneliness of leadership, how success had cost him relationships and genuine connections. "Everyone sees the CEO," he said softly. "No one sees the person who goes home to an empty apartment and wonders if this is all there is." Maya shared her own story, growing up in a working-class neighborhood in Tacoma, her parents' skepticism about her career ambitions, the imposter syndrome that still haunted her despite her success. "I keep waiting for someone to realize I don't belong in those boardrooms," she confessed. "You belong everywhere. You've earned your place," Ethan said firmly. "And Maya, you've earned it through talent and hard work, not luck." The way he looked at her made something shift in her chest. This wasn't her boss across the table. This was a man who understood her struggles, who saw her completely. As they left the restaurant, rain had intensified. Ethan offered his jacket, draping it over her shoulders. Outside her apartment building, they stood under the awning, neither wanting the evening to end. "I haven't felt this comfortable with someone in years," Ethan admitted. Maya looked up at him, rain glistening in his dark hair, and made a decision. She rose on her toes and kissed him, soft and tentative. Ethan responded immediately, his hands cradling her face with surprising gentleness. The kiss deepened, conveying everything words couldn't express. When they finally pulled apart, both slightly breathless, Ethan smiled. "This is complicated." "I know," she whispered. "But worth exploring carefully?" "Yes." The romance develops. 3 weeks passed in a blur of stolen moments and deepening connection. They were careful at work, maintaining professional boundaries, but their evenings belonged to each other. Late dinners, long walks through the city, conversations that stretched past midnight. On a Friday afternoon, Ethan appeared at Maya's desk with an unexpected proposal. "Come away with me this weekend. The Hamptons. I have a house there. Just us, away from Seattle and work and everything else." Maya hesitated only a moment before agreeing. The house was beautiful, modern and glass, perched above the ocean. That first evening, they cooked dinner together, laughing as Maya tried to teach Ethan her mother's enchilada recipe. Wine flowed freely, conversation even more so. After dinner, they stood on the deck watching moonlight dance on the water. Ethan pulled Maya close, his arms wrapping around her from behind. "I need you to know something," he murmured against her hair. "This isn't casual for me. What we have, it's real." She turned in his arms, seeing vulnerability in his expression. "For me too." Their kiss was different this time, urgent and full of promise. They moved inside, to the bedroom overlooking the sea. Ethan was tender and attentive, taking his time, making Maya feel cherished in ways she had never experienced. Every touch conveyed reverence, every kiss spoke of genuine affection. Afterward, wrapped in sheets with the sound of waves outside, Maya felt something profound shift inside her. For the first time, she understood what it meant to be truly seen by someone, to be valued for exactly who she was. "We should talk about what happens next," Ethan said, his fingers tracing patterns on her shoulder. "At work, I mean." "I know," she sighed. "It's complicated." "I want to be with you openly," he said firmly. "But I also need to protect you. Your promotion will be based solely on merit. I'll recuse myself from decisions about your promotions. We'll be transparent with HR." "You've thought about this." "I think about you constantly," he admitted, kissing her forehead. "And I want to do this right." The company retreat arrived 6 weeks later at a mountain resort outside Seattle. Maya had been preparing her presentation for the new campaign strategy for weeks, knowing this was her moment to prove herself independently of her relationship with Ethan. Standing before the executive team and department heads, she delivered with confidence, her ideas sharp and innovative. The response was overwhelmingly positive. She caught Ethan's eye across the room, and his proud smile warmed her from the inside. That evening, Ethan called a meeting with the executive team. Maya's stomach clenched, knowing what was coming. "I want to address something with complete transparency. Maya Rodriguez and I have been in a personal relationship for the past 2 months. I'm disclosing this because integrity matters to me and to this company. Maya's professional accomplishments are entirely her own. Her upcoming promotion to VP of Marketing, which the board approved last week, based solely on her campaign results, was decided without my input." The room was silent for a moment before the CFO spoke up. "We've all watched Maya's work. She's earned every advancement. Congratulations to both of you." The acceptance was unexpected, but genuine. Colleagues who had respected Maya's talent continued to do so. 6 months later, Maya sat in her new office, the title Vice President of Marketing gleaming on her door. Her latest campaign had exceeded projections by 40%. She had proven to herself and everyone else that she belonged here. A knock interrupted her thoughts. Ethan entered, closing the door behind him with a mischievous smile. "Got a minute, Miss Vice President?" "For you?" "Always." He crossed to her desk, pulling a small velvet box from his pocket. Maya's breath caught. This is where it really started. Not that accidental message, but the moment you walked in here and I realized I didn't want to hide how I felt anymore. He opened the box, revealing a stunning diamond ring. "Maya Rodriguez, you've shown me that taking risks leads to the greatest rewards. Will you marry me?" Through tears of joy, Maya whispered, "Yes." As Ethan slipped the ring on her finger and kissed her, Maya reflected on how one mistake had led to everything she never knew she needed.
The accidental message had opened a door to genuine love, to partnership, to a future where she could be both successful and cherished.